Camera's rolling.
Baby, I'm too young to know any better, but I guess I'm just too old to care. I'm waiting on the morning light to clear the air. Now the sky is wrong with regret, letting go that you pay flags. All the silence that keep me coming back. I'm the one that you hated. You know, the one you didn't want to believe. The one that you hated. Take a look at it now. I'm the mess you created. The one that you hated. Now the sky is wrong with regret, letting go that you pay flags. All the silence that keep me coming back. I'm the one that you hated. You know, the one you didn't want to believe. The one that you hated. Take a look at it now. I'm the mess you.
What is going on, everybody? It is Dad Talk. Did you hear that word, Dad? Well, we're starting it back again. How many dads do I got in the house? Can you raise your hands? Don't just listen to me say this. I tell you guys to pull out that phone. I tell you to get on that computer, to like, share, subscribe, ding the bell. I see some of you that do it, but I mean it today, Dad. I want you to get in there. I want you to hit that, and I want you to like, share, and subscribe. Can we get some Dads Matter? Lighten up in the comments, because that's what we are here to talk about today, and to show the world that dads matter. They do care, and we are tired of being silenced and looked at as we are not important. We are continuing on with the energy that we had from yesterday, man. I feel a whole new type of dad talk coming on, man. Feels good to be here with you guys. Feels good to just pull down the curtains and say, this is what's in my head, and I am going to talk it today, because I know that I am just one of you guys, and I'm finally going to say the crap that's on my head and the things that they hold you down with, the things you're not supposed to talk about. Ooh, family courts, legislation. I got bad news for you, man. We're going to talk about them. One of the main things you told us not to talk about was dads, was boys, was men, masculinity, our sons, your freaking grandsons, your future boys, the ones that you've made a business out of this. And when you look down into the eyes of the future generation, and whether it's your son, whether it's your grandson, I want you to understand, legislators, attorneys, judges, people that believe that this system is just and that there is no bias against dads. I want those people to look down into that next generation and say, this system is exactly what it was supposed to be. Because once you start going through it and you've been a part of the problem, I don't want to hear what you've got to say when it becomes your family that's going through it. You understand? Because this is what you've done, and you've done it for too long. I want to encourage my guys to get out here and speak. Ladies, let me talk to you. Ladies, we got a lot of ladies out there that support fathers' rights as well. Can you tell these dads that they matter? Are you mad that they're in here talking about dad? Does it bother you that dads are in here talking about wanting to be in their children's lives, the challenges, the adversity that they are facing when they are navigating this court system? Does that bother you, ladies? Because I don't think it does. They've made it like it's a man or it's a girl problem, and the women just don't like it when we speak. I've got some strong ones in here, and I tell you what, I dare the feminists to show up when these ladies are in the house of Dad Talk, because they'll let you know where you stand. And I just want to give a hand clap to those ladies. Thank you for being here. Thank you so much for being here and supporting Dad Talk. We need more of you, and that's what I said, guys. Pull out that phone, that computer, whatever it is. I want you to comment as much as you can. I want you to like, share, subscribe. Let's get this message out here. We are talking about a combined social media of close to 750,000 million that's been built in under 4 years, man. And then when I see the numbers that come on the screen, where is it? Look, oh, no, it's probably going to be on the other side. Look at the numbers that's on that screen. Does that reflect almost 750,000? Organic reaches went down 52% almost in the last 6 years. This is a message that people are wanting to hear, but for some reason we're getting held back. And what lets me know that we're on the right track? I go to stuff like TikTok, the one platform they want to shut down. Dude, we got 50,000 followers in a month's time, guys. Millions of views. Do you understand me? And when I come over here and do the same thing and throw this heart and this passion out, for some reason our numbers are being messed with. What's up with that? Guys, you are a part of that solution, and I need your help. If you can't contribute, if you want to contribute, that's how you can do it. Dad Talk Today, no spaces. That's Cash App, Venmo, Patreon. We got the super chats and the memberships over on YouTube. I got the same thing over on Facebook. Every member that we get, every donation that we get, it helps us continue on this. Don't forget about that fundraiser for John Mass. That's the number one priority on there. But I've got to start asking for more and more, guys, because we are going to have to build a platform that is not dependent on the mainstream in order to get our words out, because the more that we speak, the more I see this message getting that thumb put down on it. And guess what? You don't mess with dads. There is a reason why they attacked masculinity, because when masculinity is strong, when these dads come together, guess what happens? We can do great things, guys. Don't let them lie to you. How do you think the world got here where it's at? How do you think those roads out there that you're driving on got built? How do you think that White House up there in Washington, D.C. got built? It got built on the backs of men and dads all across this country that paid the taxes and went up there and did the labor. They need you, guys. Don't let them make you think that you're not important and that masculinity isn't as important as it actually is. The world needs dads. You are important. You matter. Don't let them tell you anything else, because it's BS. You hear me? That's what it is. Today's show is sponsored by Dads Australia. It's not really sponsored. They sent me this gear, man. Look at that. Yeah, look at them guns. Proud dads. Look at this, guys. Australia. There is guys all the way, if you're watching this in America right now, all the way on the other side of the world that are sitting back watching what we're doing here, starting this revolution, saying, I want to be a part of it. We want to come and we want to help fight with you guys, because they're going through the same thing. Wipe out that crap in your head that says that cannot happen. Do you know how easily we can connect with Australia and England and Canada and all these places right now? The second that I hit that live button, they can be on the screen with us, and we can organize and we can get these conversations out. Be the listening ear. We can be our brother's keeper. We can fight back against this bias. Can you do me a favor? I said put Dads Matter in there and put all this other stuff down in the comments right now. I want you to speak it. Okay? Your ex likes to speak things because they believe if they say it, that it means it's true, right? And unfortunately, a lot of times when it goes into family court, if she's made accusations against you, they look at it as true. She doesn't have to have any evidence. But I want to flip those tables around right now, and I want to ask each one of you guys, get down in that comment right now and say, this movement can do it. We can change the world. Put it down there in the comments, whether you believe it or not. I want you to start doing that on every single broadcast, because I want every guy that comes into this chat to see it and realize that we can do this. When masculinity comes together, when you start messing with dads, when you start messing with their families, watch these guys organize. We are the ones that build the armies that went and fought the world wars and the civil wars. They needed us to do that. And now that you're getting pushed out of the home, you're becoming less and less and less. You're even more expendable to go fight a war over there that you didn't start. Let me tell you something, guys. This is your war right here, because this is your families that they are messing with. That is your retirement. That is your money that they are taking out of your pocket in order to build that system that keeps putting that thumb down on you. They use your hard work to create the bias. When do we change it? When? I know I'm high energy right now, dude, because I believe it. I do. I'm not scared of these guys. Let me tell you something. The message, like I said, a few months ago, we started kind of going on a different level. I was fugabooed. You know, I am a guy that really wants to listen to my elders. I want to hear what was brought before me. Let me hear the legislative work. Let me hear the efforts that you have done. Let me learn from you, because I'm here and I just want to be a tool. Utilize me. I'm a good promoter. I don't know the legislation. I don't know how to fight the family court battles, but I do know how to get the word out. Show me what you've been doing and let's see how I can contribute. And man, I say those 3.5 years were wasted. They weren't, guys. I got to see the behind the scenes, what is going on. And what it is a lot of people are going to the very ones that made this system and depending on them to undo that system in order for this to go away. And a lot of times that's, yes, sir, how can we help? You need research. You need this. Let me see if I can get you some money. Let me see if I can get you some posts. Let me see if we can get some door knocks or something for you. We hardly have anything because we're a bunch of broke dads going through this system. But let's go up to the Capitol every chance we get on our free time and fight for this equality, just to get in front of this legislation that tells us we don't care about our kids or that we don't need custody. That's what's happening. Every way you turn around, they're taking their foot and they're wiping it on your families. You understand? And dude, us dads have sat back and taken it. Are you going to sit back and take that? In that comment, say that you believe we can change this right now. Confidence, man. That's what masculinity does. People can call it ego. They can call it whatever they want. Somebody would see this and what in the world is Eric on? You know what Eric's on right now, dude? I'm on the best drug of all time. I'm on fatherhood right now. I promise you. Because I know what I'm fighting for. And the more that I can come down here again and just take those curtains down and say, let me say what I've been wanting to say for so long. I know that you guys have been wanting to say this too. Okay? Let's create an environment where it's okay for you to talk about those challenges, to talk about those frustrations and say, why are you doing this to us? You should be okay in doing that. You should be safe in doing that. Unfortunately, why do guys not speak? One, because they feel like they're alone. But the other thing is they're afraid if they speak up against this system, if they say what's on their mind, if they try to tell somebody about the bias that they're going through, it's going to be used against them to make it even worse. And guess what? Unfortunately, many times they are right. Many times they are right. Guys, I don't care if you have to make fake profiles and come under here under an alias so that you can feel free to talk the way you want to. Do what needs to happen in order for us to organize. I'm 38 years old now. I think what's lighting that fire even more is I know my dad made it to 63. If I make it to the same as my dad, I got 25 years, and I know the long battle that I got ahead of me. I cannot leave this earth until I know that this has been settled. I have tried to run away from this. There was times I said I couldn't look at it anymore. But whether it was God, whatever it was, something said, Eric, you are called to do this. And I'm a guy that lacks confidence. I'll be honest with you. I might seem confident right now because I'm getting that back. There was many times like, who in the hell am I? You know, I don't even know how to fight these court cases. I don't know. I'm going through my own issues, man. I've got a kid I haven't seen. I've got issues with my other kids. Who am I? I have stuff from my past and everything. They said, you are the guy that is wanting to do it, willing to do it, and not afraid. That was one thing that I did have as that pastor son, was that chip on the shoulder. I was that rock and roll rebel guy. Got me in a lot of trouble as a kid. And I tried to get rid of it completely, but that was always who I was. I didn't realize that I could take that and make it positive. We are rebelling against this system. We are rebelling against the status quo and the stereotypes and the narratives that have been made against us. And we are breaking them to pieces right now, dude. Guys, pull up your hands. Those chains that are on you right now, those chains, I want you to break them apart. Masculinity is needed. Can we speak it into our brothers right now? And the more you speak it down there in those comments, the more you like, share, subscribe, and help us get this platform out. We are building an army, and watch when you see what masculinity could be. If you actually took care of masculinity, if you actually took care of men and you made sure that they were okay up here and they had what they needed to provide for their families, watch how healthy this country could be. It might not be trillions of dollars in debt because you were doing the right thing. You know who the legislature legislators are out for? How are these guys going into office that are getting these jobs that make $50,000 to $100,000, and then you come out of office and your net worth is $50 to $60 million, guys? The only thing that can change that is masculinity. The only thing that can change that is some guys, some rebels that say, I'm not afraid of any of the adversity that's going to come towards me. I was built for this, man. Bring it on. Bring it on. Guys, they are but a few. They have a lot of power, right? They have a lot of power. The courts do too, but they are but a few. I want you to realize something when I talk about these dads, when I talk about these fathers and the crap that you are going through. Do you not realize that we are millions? Millions. I would even dare say probably billions. We are the other half of the world. This world could not exist without us. People, manhood, humanity, human beings, none of that could exist without you, Dad. And your importance is being taken away from you. We're telling half of the world that they don't matter. And in order to be born and live this thing called life and continue that circle of life and to give birth and to become a parent, you're going to have to pay for it. And here is the price tag that's going to be put on your family. And I guess, you know what, dude? The sad thing about it with that price tag, there's never a clearance. You're not going to hear the guy on the telecom, if you buy it now, in the next hour, it's going to be 50% off. How much does it cost to be a father? That's what the name of this show is. How much does it cost to be a father? Can anybody tell me what it costs if you're unmarried to get custody of your children? Can anybody tell me what it costs if you get a divorce, what it costs for that divorce and to get custody of your children? What's the number? Now, if I go to the store and say I want to buy some protein snack bars, most of the time, Atkins, I mean, you could sponsor me. Anyway, if I go, like, it's going to be like $6, $5.98. I can look at that product and I can say, this is what it's going to cost me. So when I get up to the cash register, that's what they're going to order me to pay. But when it comes to your families, when it comes to you seeing your kids, something that should have never had a price tag put on it, what is the price tag? There is a reason why there is a blank check. Do you remember that movie from the 90s, Blank Check, where the kid accidentally got hit by the car and the guy's like, look, man, just don't report it. Here's a check. And that kid sits there and looks at it. Even as a kid, there was greed there. He's got this blank check. I'm going to put $1 million in it, and I'm just going to go spend it crazy. The government, these attorneys, these legislators, we have handed them a blank check, and the payer is fatherhood. Fatherhood is the name on that check. We have handed them a blank check and said, whatever it costs for us to be with our kids, to make the world go round, tell us how much it costs. We're going to pay it. We're going to go to work. We're not going to organize. We're going to feel hopeless. We're going to allow them to put us down. We're going to allow them to take our kids and put them in the system. We're going to allow them to get incentives off of it. And they can have that blank check. And right now, guys, they are writing whatever number they want to. And it's the perfect system because guess what, Dad? You know what? There's so many of these dads, as soon as they get out of the system, they leave this movement. They're like, you know what? I got away from it. I don't have to worry about it anymore. Not realizing what it's going to do to the future generation. Okay. But what you don't understand is that check is still there. And there is a new generation that's about to come through there, go through the same thing. They don't have to fight hard with this system. They don't have to reorder stock because the stock's going to be going through there anyway. And the way that modern feminism and the domestic violence industry and everything else has played into this, men, you are walking into a trap. I cannot promote a system when I have seen these guys that have lost their lives, when I've seen the kids that have lost their lives, and they had a dad sitting on the other side of that saying, if you don't do something, something is going to happen to my son. I'm telling you, I want custody. If you don't do something, this is what's going to happen. Oh, I got to go hire an attorney. I get there. I sit there in this. I want you guys to understand the allegations. When we talk about false allegations, let's dip into that a little bit more. There is a guy sitting in that bench. There might be a woman across from him saying he beat her, he beat the kids, sexually molested, whatever. I mean, dude, we've heard it all. Look at what Amber Heard did, okay? And then they are looking at this guy that's sitting here and hearing these worst allegations that you could ever be accused of. And even though they could be as false and as it could be the biggest lie in the face of mankind, and they're upset. That attorney That judge is looking at him like, you better not speak. You better not show one bit of emotion. If you went into family court and did what I'm doing on this microphone right now, you would lose your case 100%. You understand? If you showed this passion, if you showed this emotion and said, look, I want to fight for my kids. Let me tell you about the lies that was going on. Let me tell you about every time I asked to see my kid and I was blocked. Let me tell you about every time I showed up to the location to get my kids and she wasn't there. Let me tell you about all these times that I've put contempt of court, Judge. I told you that she was blocking me. I had the My Parenting app. I showed you the text messages and you did absolutely nothing. The case is like Glenn Terry when he sits there and looks at him. If you don't go get my son right now, she's going to kill him. What happened? She killed him. Now, how in the world does an attorney, CPS, a police officer, a judge still have a job when there was a father that told this system what was going to happen and they didn't listen to him and it cost the life of a 16-month-old child? This is what I call war. Do you understand? There is a reason. If you can hear about this 16-month-old child or the other year-and-a-half-old child with Jonathan Vanderhagen, if you can hear about the 5-year-old that lost their life due to drinking mom's bong water, if you can hear that stuff and not get as upset about me, man, or as upset as me, then something's wrong with you. You've been desensitized with this media. The problem is there's so many problems in the world. We hear them each and every single day that we've become desensitized as to what's going on. Guys, you've been brainwashed. There is a thing as political alienation, but there's also societal alienation. This blue pill mentality of this is the way it is and there's nothing you can do about it has went on for so long that there's so many of you on the other side of that screen that have gave up hope. And let me tell you something, Dad, there's nothing no more worse than that. You might as well hang it up, man. Don't even try anymore because you have no passion. You have no life to give into this fight. That's bullcrap, man. You have everything to give into this fight. You got to realize that trash that's been put inside your head when you're watching that TV or when you go inside those family courts or when you're having these conversations when nobody's wanting to listen to you. You got to pull that crap out and say, you know what? Yes, I can. You remember the Nutty Professor? Yes, I can. Yes, I can. Somebody needs to be acting like the clumps up in here, okay? You need to say, yes, I can, because we can, guys, and we will. We will. Do I sound like a preacher? I am doing a ministry right now. To anybody that thinks that I'm crazy, I sound like a Pentecostal preacher or whatever. Look at him. There's something got to be going on. Listen to what I'm telling you. Stop looking at the energy or the hands or whatever and listen to the words that are coming out of my mouth when I tell you that there are parents and kids and people losing their lives over this. Will you listen to me when I say that there are kids that go their whole lives thinking that a dad doesn't want them? Only getting one side of the story, only to find out years later that my dad wanted me. All these fatherless statistics that I'm now vulnerable to could have been completely avoided, but because somebody wanted control and because the courts allowed them to have that control and made money off of it, I lost a whole life with my father who could have loved me, who could have gave me that roadmap to life, who would have protected me when there was a harm that was coming my way. He would have jumped in front of a car. He would have took a bullet from me, because that's what dads will do for their kids. You are robbing them of that relationship, man. It is that very foundation when we're talking about parents, when we're talking about families. It is that very foundation which makes this world that we are in right now. To all of them that are making that system, do you not get that? It took me going to a legislator that voted against shared parenting, okay, and bringing up his grandkids. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you love your grandkids? Absolutely, man. Being a granddad was one of the best things I ever did in my life, okay? Could you imagine just because your daughter went through a divorce, or if you had a son went through a divorce, now you wouldn't be able to see that grandkid because that shared parenting wasn't in there? Looks at me on the screen. You got me. That was what I needed to hear. If you could have saw the look on his face, he was so pissed off at me, because I brought him the truth and because I made him relate to it, because he wanted to be against us so bad. And that's why I say, when you're talking to these people, you're going and saying, this is my story. Let me tell you my story. They could give a crap less about your stories, guys. I hate to say that. We have to show the extreme stories to say, look, this is the consequences. But when you go to talk to these people about legislation or the bias that exists or why there is a need for change, they could give a crap less what you've went through. But if you stand across from them and say, Granddad, can you see your grandkids in your head right now? You probably got a picture of them in your wallet. I want you to imagine your life without them, because you're just looking at this as a father or a mother thing. No, grandma, grandpa, you get taken away too. So do the siblings, aunts, uncles. Can you imagine not have your nieces and nephews there, all because somebody went through a divorce? You're going to have to walk them a mile in your footsteps, guys. You're going to have to excuse me. The heat's on here in Georgia. It's cold in the morning and then it gets hot in the afternoon. The heater's going. I could go and turn it down right now, buddy, but I'm on fire. It's okay. It's okay. I love you guys. I love you. But I'm going to tell you, playtime is over. Do you understand me? Playtime is over. In order for this message to get out there the way we need it to, it's going to have to look a little bit more like this. And let me tell you, when it starts getting out there, it's going to look even worse when it comes back at us. I've seen the rallies when the older advocates was there and people would pull the fire alarms, scream in their faces, spit on them, punch them, and just sit there and completely rally against them. And as ugly as that is, guys, we can't let that hold us back. Again, we don't have to do no rallies. We don't have to show up anywhere except for right here, man. We can do it right here. It's the greatest gift that we've ever had. We are living in a very different moment in time, where once upon a time, we might not have had the resources to get on the airplanes. We might not have had the money to get the rental cars and the hotels and go to some of these places. But most people got this thing right here. And if you got it, I want you to hit that like, share, and subscribe. Let's get that Dads Matter back in the comments, and that you believe this movement can happen down in the comments. Come on, man. I want you to reply to one of your brothers that's down there in the comments right now and say, brother, we can do this. I want to meet up with you later on tonight. I want to start our own group. We need a veterans for dad talk. We need a grandmas for dad talk. We need a grandpas for dad talk. We need a aunts and uncles for dad talk. And don't you think that I'm not sitting here strategizing every second that I'm not on that camera right there. I promise you, I've got more ideas in 2023 than I've ever had in my life. And I feel it coming, guys. And that's why the energy feels so great. I got to talk to people over there that feels like they have nothing left. They have nothing left. Some of these guys are on the brink. You understand me? They are on the brink. Those are the guys we're having to reach into that screen right there and say, come on, man. Come on. We love you. Don't let them tell you you're not important and that you don't matter. I know you might not be able to see your kid right now, but you are still daddy. It's not just about what you do when you got your kids. It's about what you're doing when you're not with your kids. This movement is just as big a part of your fight as the one that you're going through in that courtroom. If you actually fought this fight, maybe that fight wouldn't be necessary. Let's take away the incentives. Let's take away the allegations. Let's take away the money that is going through there. The ones that are sitting there not listening to anything these guys got to say. Anybody that claims to be an expert inside a family court that says there is not a bias against men, I don't believe anything else you've got to say. And some of you got some amazing research. I can agree to disagree, and I can do it in a very respectful way. But anybody that could sit there and look themselves in the mirror and say that these guys' challenges, the ones that are down in my comments that I am trying to speak life back into right now, that you can sit there and listen to and watch what they're going through in family court and tell them that their battle is not real. I don't want to listen to anything else you got to say, man. But also, if you're an expert and you see what's going on in this community and you're not getting involved, what are you going to be? Are you going to be an advocate, or are you going to be an advertiser? You know, a long time ago, I have no shortage of people messaging me, wanting to come on this show all the time, dude. And I just can't get to you guys. I can't get to all of you. And listen, if you're one of those that's been reaching out and you want to talk to me, I want to talk to you just as much. That's why I read your comments on this show, and I do as much as I can. That's why we made the voicemail line. But I can't sit there and answer your messages. I can't read your court papers, and I can't do all that because I've got a bigger picture. It's right now, it's David versus Goliath, and I'm looking the giant right in his eyes and saying, man, all I have is a slingshot, and all I've got is these few rocks. But watch it, man, when I sit there and wind that thing up, giant, you don't even know what's coming at you, baby. I'm fighting the big war, so I can't get involved in all of that. But you guys can organize. You can come together. You can do this, please, for me, for your kids, for once will this movement become what it's meant to be. You are in the millions. There is no reason why we should be getting 500 to 1,000 or 10,000 or 100,000 views. We should be getting millions of views and millions of people behind here. But that starts with you. There's nobody out there promoting that this movement is here, and they're not going to. Do you understand me? That's something we really need to be looking at right now. There's not going to be until you guys start reaching out to the ones that you know and say, dude, we got this elite club right here of dads that think they're crazy enough to take a slingshot and some rocks and take down a giant. But they are saying they are building an army. They are ones wanting to see the masculinity come back, to see the father replaced in the home, to see the nuclear family come back. And in order to do it, they're going to need you. So what I'm going to do, I was challenged to invite 10 people to the show today. Will you do me a favor? I'm going to nominate you for that challenge. There is people that nominate you on Facebook every day to take a freaking survey to find out what kind of potato you are. Can you do a public challenge on Dad Talk to say, I am inviting 10 people right now, tag them, I want to see you on the show tomorrow, and then you say, I'm inviting you to do the same. We might not have the money to fight against these bastards, but we have the numbers and dads. We do. But first, we've got to get them back to where they need to be and show them how strong they really are and show them what masculinity can do, man. Masculinity is important. Guys, without you, the world does not exist. Without you, there is no nuclear family. Without you, the other side of parenting, the other half of parenting does not exist. And I feel sorry for these moms sometimes because they think that in order to do this, that they don't need you, okay? That you don't play any role in it. Let me talk to some of those single moms out there that are raising sons. What kind of problems are you having right now? I've seen so many of them, especially when a single mom has a son. She'll want to get in a relationship as quick as she can. You want to know why? Because she's having a hard time controlling that kid and making him mine. Well, guess why? Men were built to be the men in the house. He doesn't have that male role model in the house, but his natural instinct to be that man is coming up. And he's saying, I'm the man in the house now because there is no man. And so you're having that trouble controlling him. You want to get a new man, call him daddy because you're needing some help. But guess what? If you kept the father in the home and we learned how to get these relationships back together and realize what the importance of having that nuclear family is, it would be better off on you too. Just as much as these men have been figabooed. Ladies, you have too. You love men. That's why you still keep having kids. You've been told that you don't need a man, that you don't need to do it this way. Yes, you do. In order to have those kids in the first place, you needed a man. I dare you, try to get pregnant without it. I mean, you can if you go and get somebody that's already donated something, but it's still the same thing. You cannot have a kid without him. There is nothing on the Walmart shelf like they do with vegetables that says, okay, let me take this pill today and I'm going to become pregnant tomorrow. That doesn't exist. I guarantee you they might try that one day, but right now you need a man too. And guess what? A man needs you. And these men aren't afraid to get married because they don't want to get married. These men are afraid to get married because every time they do, they can have their kids and everything they've worked for in their life completely stripped away from them. And it's wrong. Imagine just because you went through a divorce, maybe your ex or your current spouse is cheating on you and doing all these things. Now you're going through a divorce and you didn't even ask for it. You can have everything taken away from you just because she wants to divorce. Where did that, you know what, in business, just like I talked about the price tag in the stores, man, I'm going to have to go turn on the AC. Just like I talked about the price tag on the stores, if I go to buy this product, $5.98, okay, this is what it's going to cost. There is no price tag on what it costs for you to get your kids or to go through a divorce because that's a blank check. That's what it is. It's the same thing, man, with your families, guys. Whew, I'm lit up. I'm lit up, man. I promise you guys, it is nothing but coffee and fatherhood right now. This is how I get when I talk about it. This is how I get, man. I never wanted to be a leader. I never wanted to be a podcaster. I'm one of those guys that really, you might not believe this, but I want to be in the background and I hate public speaking. But damn it, it's too late. If I'm going to do it, you're going to find out who Eric Carroll really is. You understand? You're going to find out who I am. And if you guys want to see that, you're going to get it this way or you're not going to see it any other way. I've got to be me. I feel so pissed off that I went that 3.5 years and I saw some of the biggest trash that I've ever seen in my life. This movement isn't even a movement yet, guys. This is what needs to happen in order to have a movement. You got to have people on the front lines that are sticking out saying, I'm not afraid of what they're going to say to me. I'm not afraid to say what I'm going to have coming out of my mouth. I'm going to speak what's on my heart and what's on my mind. Because let me tell you something, man. You've been told that's bad. That's the inner father inside of you that's dying to just get out and say, woof, woof. The masculinity. It's wanting to come out. That same thing when I was talking about that boy wanting to be the man in the house. Why do you think that men are being emasculated? In order to be able to control that man that will get on here and speak like this and will become that leader. The only way that they can control them is to emasculate them. I need a pushover. Nothing boggles my mind more than when you see the big bodybuilder, right? Roar! In there doing the weights and stuff, and then you see him, oh baby, what can I do for you? That this blue-pilled man, that is just a whipped up puppy dog. He reminds me of a dog on a leash. You say what you want, and that's what you're gonna receive, man. I'm gonna do whatever you want. I'm not gonna push back. I'm not gonna talk. Hey man, happy wife, happy life. Whatever she says, you need to do it. Dude, there is older couples and men that still say that every day, and we laugh at it. We laugh at it. Because it was just a joke. Do they really mean it? There's a lot of these guys, believe it or not, that really meant it. They mean that when they say that. So let me ask you something, guys. Next time somebody says that crap to you, happy wife, happy life, whatever she says is what needs to go, would you start pushing back? You don't have to do it in a mean way, but you could say, nah, that's not exactly right. Especially for the Christians out there. How hypocritical is it of the Christians to watch men get emasculated? Who did God get to be the leaders? Who did he want to build the ark? Who are the kings, man? Who did he want to be the leader of the house? You call yourself a Christian, you call yourself a church, but the things that I read inside of that book, that Jesus clearly stated himself, you don't even talk about it. You have to skip over the parts in the book that you are afraid are going to make your congregation uncomfortable, because just like the family courts, that offering plate means too much to you. Churches, I don't care what denomination you are, any of them that are pushing that rhetoric, you need to be called out too. I came from the foundation of the church. My roots is in the ministry. This is why I tried to run away from it so much, guys. And I realized I was destined for this, man. Both of my granddads preachers, my dad a preacher. I grew up in the last thing I ever wanted to do. After I turned 18, I didn't go back to church. The only time my dad begged me several times, and I wish I would have for him now, but I wanted to go learn on my own. Okay. I wanted to be a kid and I wanted to find out things on my own, not just because that's what I was told. I went against the grain even back then. But the last time I went to church the first time I went to church after I turned 18 was when my father passed. And I finally sang a song for him that he had been begging me for years to get up there and sing in front of the church. And I had a panic attack in the middle of it, but I did it because that was what my dad wanted. I loved him. But I always said, I do not want to be a minister. I do not want to be in the church. But guys, I got to tell you, I'm third generation, man. Sometimes they said third time's a charm. None of them had big churches or anything. And when I got into this, I just thought I was talking to other dads. But when I come on here, man, I feel like I'm opening up a book of whoop ass on this family courts. And I feel like I'm finally saying what men want to say. And I don't know if it's you, God, that's telling me to do this, but buddy, I'm listening now. And this message is just going to keep getting out there more and more. If there was churches that were doing more of what I'm doing on this microphone right now, you might not have empty pews. If there was was churches that were doing more of what I'm doing on the microphone right now. You might have more families in the churches. You might see more people wanting to listen to what you've got to say. You don't even preach the word, but you want to make people comfortable. I didn't know that going in there and opening up that book was about making people comfortable. We talk about people going to hell and all this other stuff, which would make people uncomfortable. But when it talks about dads, when it talks about the nuclear family and the role that men are supposed to play, you churches are some of the biggest cowards I have ever seen in my life. And you know why I say that? Not to knock on you. You could be one of the biggest influences behind this, but you need to change. You need to change. You all sound the same. Guess who else all sounds the same? The judges and the politicians. They all say the same messages. And why do they do that? Because you guys have fell for it. I would love to see a new movement that comes around and it breaks all the societal norms and that grows and it can look these other people in the face. This world is so full of followers, man. You've been told that you got to have the house, you got to have the car, you got to go to college, you got to get the job, your retirement's going to be at 65. There are guys that are working jobs every single day that they can't stand, but because it makes a paycheck and gives them a little glimpse of what they've told they were supposed to be, they go and do it every day working towards somebody else's vision because they are not allowed to have vision of their own. And you know what those guys become? They become followers. The masculinity has left them because I am just going through the normal routine every single day because it's what I've been told I need to do. There is nothing wrong with you saying, I've got a vision. This is something I'm passionate behind and I can make this happen. And I don't have to go be the status quo over here. I can be a leader in my family. I can be a leader in my neighborhood. I can be a leader in the world and I can be different. Some of you have never dared to be different. You keep doing the same. And when you see different, when you see somebody like me, you know what happens? You know what happens, man? A lot of times people see, you do this full time? Yep, I sure do. How in the world can you afford to do that? Because I make my money outside of Dad Talk. I started learning how to do cars and other things. But you know what? I found other things that I can do that help me so that I can come and sit on this microphone and go towards my vision and my passions. There was a reason that I went through those struggles and trials, and guy on the other side of the screen that's going through that divorce, that's going through that family court, whatever it is, that depression. You go through depression too. You've got those thoughts in your head that you lock up every single day because you don't think the world's going to understand what you're going through. And you're afraid that if you speak it, everybody's going to look at you like you're crazy. Let me tell you something. Get in here and talk to your brothers that have been through this same exact thing and find out how much in common you are. Don't let them isolate you anymore. Don't let them do it. Have vision, have passion. It's okay to have vision and passion. When you wake up tomorrow morning and you go, because I got that medical insurance, because I got that stability, because I got this, I got to stay there because it's the only thing that keeps me going. Imagine being a criminal inside of your mind and thinking that's the only thing that you could do in your life. You're putting limits on yourself, man. You're putting limits on yourself. And many of you are living with those limits, and you've done the same thing with this movement. You think because there's no stability and because you don't know where you're starting that you can't get involved. And because it's so bad right now, it's all it's ever going to be. Rip those limits off of your life right now, man. Get down in there in the comments. Like I said, right now, each and every single one of you, I believe this can happen. No limits. No limits on my life. No limits on my families, man. I'm ripping apart these chains. Will you encourage one of your brothers right now? And I want you to do it in a masculine way. I want you to come on, man. Come on. We need you. We need you. Take those limits off of your life, guys. You will feel much more passion. If you see this on the screen, I want some of what Eric's got. You know what it takes to get some of what Eric's got is to be fearless, not to listen to everybody else, and get out there and do whatever comes to your mind, man, because that is what I have done. And I have people, they'll see that difference. And how does he do that? They look at me like I'm an alien, dude. You ever seen that movie They Live with Roddy Piper, where they got the sunglasses and they see all the aliens and stuff, but they don't see it until they got on the sunglasses? Until I got in here and still started building towards me, I didn't see how many people were alienated across society right now, and they're just followers going through the routine, not realizing that every day that they go away from their calling. They're walking away from a vision that was meant for them. They are walking away from their destiny that could change their brother around them. You might have the testimony and you might have what is needed that we are missing here. There might be something that I'm missing here that I'm not saying right now. And I'm just waiting on one of my brothers out there to say, I'm going to join Eric. I'm going to join Eric and I'm going to get in this fight. I don't know how I'm going to. Do you think I knew how I was going to do this? Dude, I'm telling you, all I did was buy a $10 a $10 website, put it there on Facebook. And as crazy as it was, I'm losing a job. I went to that job, left a job of 6 years, guys. I left a job of 6 years because I had went to 2 attorneys, realized I couldn't afford to fight for my daughter. So I went to another job in hopes of making more money so that I could go and fight. And even that wasn't going to be enough money. I was there 1 month before they told us that they were shutting the company down worldwide. And you know what? I found out every time I tried to run from what I felt in my heart, this is what happened. Every time I tried to run from that passion, that thing that was saying, hey, McFly, I'm a Gen Xer, man. Every time I tried to run away from it, man, something grabbed me and was like, hey, where the hell do you think you're going? But man, I'm going through these problems. I got to pay this money. I don't know what I'm going to do. If I do this right here, it's even scarier, man. I can't do that. I need that stability. I need that routine. I was afraid to leave my routine. I was afraid to show the passion. But something kept grabbing me and said, damn it, I made you for more than this. And don't think every day during those 7 years at those jobs, dude, I was that CDL driver. I was that ice cream man, dude. I went, saw what they needed on the shelf, went out to a minus 53 truck, got that ice cream down, checked it in, went to the store, and I'd just be sitting there every day in the same places. Every day it felt exactly the same. It was like it was on replay, Groundhog's Day. And I'd take that buttered pecan or that homemade vanilla or that chocolate and put it on that shelf, and I'm sitting there thinking, you were made for more than this. You were made for more than this. At 16, guys, I was in college. I had quit school, went and got my GED. I got in so much trouble in school. I had always done these things that got me in trouble. And I said, I want to do something to make my family proud of me. All I ever do is get in trouble and make bad decisions. Can I do something for once that makes my family proud of me? I went and got my GED, and at the age of 16, I am in a Christian college to become a minister. You understand? As much as I say I never wanted to be a minister, that was what I was going to college for. I was there maybe 4 or 5 months, and I saw these people. We weren't allowed to date. We weren't allowed to listen to secular music. We weren't allowed to do anything but read the Bible. Wasn't allowed to watch TV. And I would see these people just keep parroting back the things that were told to them. There wasn't many rebels. I would always be the rebel. If I read something in the Bible and I didn't understand it, I'd be like, well, hey, hold up. What does this mean? And you know what would happen? Oh, you need to be careful. You're blaspheming. Don't question God. Some things are not meant to be questioned. I'm not questioning God. I'm not putting him down. I'm saying, what the hell does this mean? Is there anything wrong with that? But that's how alienated some of the Christians are. And so I did my 3 or 4 months there, and I said, I can't do this anymore. I can't. And I left. I came home. But the fire didn't stop there, man. I got this vision. People talking about unity. All the organizations need to unite. They have no idea what they're asking for because it'll never happen. And trust me, I tried to do that early on in Dad Talk. But I did the same thing with the churches. I went to the Baptist and the Methodist and the Pentecostal, whatever church it was, and said, guys, why are you separating yourself with these denominations? There's division. Do you all believe in Jesus? Yes. Do you all believe in God? Yes. Can we come together and have a service? Man, they looked at me like I was a joke. Like, why would I do that? My dad had a smaller church. A lot of those bigger churches looked down on us. Why would we come to your dad's church? And that was where I respected so much of my father. You know, I've seen the pastors that are on TV that are making the millions and millions of dollars and living in the mansion. My dad had a small country church that ran 20 to 30 people on a good day on Sundays. And as much as I always begged him to quit because I judged his ministry by how many people were there, He always showed up. If the church's bills weren't being made, he paid them. He didn't take a salary. It was something he believed in. And I always judged that ministry by how big it was, how much money it made, how nice the church was, and everything. But that was where I started getting a little glimpse. These bigger churches think that they are too good to be with some of these other guys. And that's where I started becoming a rebel again, man. But it was when my father passed away. I'll never forget. I had lived that way for a while. And so, I'm like 25, 26 years old when my father passes away. And I hadn't been to the church in 7 or 8 years, so I didn't see the ministry that was going on after that. And he finally got a new church. He was only there like 6 months, and they started giving him a salary for the first time. The first time they gave my father a paycheck, he started crying his eyes out, man. Let me tell you something. There wasn't a man on the face of this earth that worked harder to get that paycheck. It wasn't about the money. He didn't need the money. He had worked hard his whole life as an insurance salesman. It was the fact that people cared about what he had did. It's the same thing here, man. When I see the $5 and $10 donations coming in, guys, I'm just as happy as the person that sends 50 and 100 stars as I am the one that sends 100,000, because I say they believe in what we're doing. But I learned that from my old man. I did. And when he died, I remember going to the visitation. It was supposed to be from 6 to 8 o'clock, just 2 hours. At 10 o'clock at night, guys, there was still a line all the way out the door to come and see my dad's body. There was a little girl that was bald-headed that almost died from cancer laying over the top of my father, crying her eyes out because my dad went and tried to be a father figure to her. He was there for her. I saw all the families that said, if it wouldn't have been for your dad, we wouldn't have made it. And me, the son, who looked down on that and judged it because of how big it was, I didn't see the impact that one big man had. And that was the day I realized I'm ashamed of myself. But that was the whole reason I went, like I said, to the Christian college. I wanted somebody to be proud of me, but that wasn't my calling, man. I went and tried to get that normal job, $10 an hour. Dude, when I was in concert promotions, I could make thousands of dollars in no time and go hang out with rock stars I worshiped growing up. It was really awesome, but I got bored of it. And it was an ego thing back then. I was in a relationship where I was being cheated on. I was never told I was good looking, never told I was talented, anything. I never knew what was going on. I had already been married to this person once. Now I'm married to him twice, knowing that they've had affairs on me, of several affairs up until that point. And I called myself trying to put my family back together. And in the midst of that, I used my job and working with celebrities and stuff to make me feel like I had some type of value. And I was one of the most miserable guys on the face of this earth. And that's why I turned to substance abuse. The first time I tried an opiate, it made me feel like the guy I had been missing. This is what I've been missing. This is the way I was supposed to feel. I became more confident. I could talk to you. I no longer looked down at the ground. It made me to where I could look you in the eyes. And man, it was wonderful in the beginning, but it very quickly became, I went from a half a pill to one, from 1 pill to 2, from 2 to 4, from 4 to 8, from 8 to 16, from 16 to 32, all the way up to 60 a day, man. 10 milligram Percocets. That was my thing. And I was trying to fill that void in my life. I wasn't going after my purpose. My marriage and my family was on rocks. I knew I was with the wrong person, and I had no love for me. And no matter what I did, I couldn't find happiness, man. And I finally figured that out when my third daughter was born. I'll never forget the night I looked down at her and I was like, you son of a bitch, you got to change, man. You got to change. She needs you. And that was when it happened. That was when it clicked. It changed me. I got rid of that. I got rid of all those addictions. I started finding a healthy sense of self. I went and got a normal job, said I got to get away from the bars and all this other stuff. I don't need this crap in my life. I just need to be a dad. And even though I was making $10 an hour and working at a stressful job, it was the happiest I had been in a long time. I had a family to come home to. I had kids that I loved, and I had a guy that I could look in the mirror. Even though I still didn't like the way he looked, I could say, I'm proud of you, because there was points in time that I never thought I would get out of the situations that I do. I'll still have people do that. Was like 15 years ago. 15 years ago, they'll bring that stuff up every so often. Well, Eric did this or whatever. Is like, you don't understand. I'll gladly get on here. I don't care if it's 10 million people that are watching me right now and tell you about that, because I overcame that, man. That was one of the greatest obstacles I ever overcame. The same with my divorces and stuff. It was meant to break me. Look at what the hell I'm doing here right now. I'm letting it make me, because this is dad talk. And that power 15 years ago, when I looked down at my little baby and I said, you're going to get the dad that you deserve. That was the moment that made the man that you see before you right now. It was the moment that I refound that confidence and love for myself. And it changed my life for the better. When I lost that job and didn't know what I was going to be doing, and I knew I was running away from my calling, I didn't want to do a podcast. Dude, if you could have seen my nerves the first time I got on a podcast, my palms sweaty and everything. Like, dude, I don't like the way I look on the camera. I'm saying too many times. I don't know what to do. I don't know how to carry the conversation. One of the scariest things in my life. But there was also that sense of self that when I was sitting down in that chair and I was looking in that camera, I was saying, it feels like, as bad as I feel right now in doing this, and as uncomfortable as it is, I'm where I needed to be. What am I going to talk about? I know I want to help men. I know I want to talk about these struggles in my divorce and the substance abuse and the other things I went to. I went through it for a reason. I can empower other guys that are now stuck in that thinks their life is never going to change, that this is the best it's ever going to get. And I can look at them and say, look at me now. I wish you could have seen me 15 years ago. You would have never thought that guy would be doing what he's doing right now. Don't tell me. I don't give a crap what you're going through right now. You can get through this, man. And when I thought about what is it I'm going to speak about, what was the most important time of my life? When was that moment that clicked and made me who I am now? Becoming a dad. Every time I had a child, it did something different to me. I'm not a perfect guy. I'm not a perfect father. I make my mistakes. Man, I get in arguments with my children all the time because I want to do what's right for them. And I feel like on the other side, anytime I try to be a dad, he's wrong. And that's frustrating. But I love my kids, and I know the seeds that I've planted, and I know that they're going to be okay. And I love you. I love you, babies. I do. More than anything on the face of this earth, I love my kids. I've got one I haven't even known what that relationship is like, that time that's being taken away from me. Now I could go try to find that other job, maybe go hire that attorney that wanted that 10,000 retainer just to get started and say, whatever it costs, let's just go in debt and let's go through this system and become another number. God called me to do what I'm doing right now. I've seen Goliath and I want him to fall. Do you understand? Family courts, we are coming for you. I want this message to get so loud and proud that when you see the millions of fathers that you have broken and beaten down, come out of the ashes, come out of the heaps and say, we are here, we are united, and you are not going to sweep us under the rug anymore. That is going to be a day that is going to threaten the family courts unlike anything they've ever seen. I would dare say it's going to be the moment that this country is going to look at it and say, oh my God, there might even be a new political force coming in. Masculinity is coming back. It wants to play its role in the home. We can change the world. We can take that confusion that our kids are going through right now and turn it back around. The reason they are confused is because they are without you guys. Now you look at the mass shooters, you look at the things that's going on. What is the biggest common denominator in these kids that are facing these challenges? It's fatherless homes. Fatherless homes. Could you imagine with all of those statistics and things that are going on, if we took these fathers that have been taken out right here and put them back in the home, the cataclysm, the wave that's going to come when it happens, we can make the world a better place. But in order to make the world a better place right now, the guy that's on the other side of that screen that thinks his situation's not going to get better, that doesn't know how to get involved in this movement and thinks that that's hoopla coming out of my mouth, it's waiting on you. You understand? It's not Eric Carroll. It's not me. I'm doing my part. Absolutely. And I'm going to continue to do it. My job on this earth in this movement might just be to look at you, dude, and say, I need you over here. I'm not going to be the one to tell you how to fight your family court case. I'm not going to be the one to write the legislation. I don't even want to be the one in the Capitol or in the committees anymore. I want to be this guy on this microphone right now that's speaking life back into you guys, saying, get in the comments, say that you believe it can happen. And when you see these fathers rise, man, watch what happens. Watch what happens. I don't see any other media like this out there. That's crazy. Don't judge me by what you're seeing up here. Look, that's the chains that are holding us down. Those numbers right there, they want you to think that that's all this movement is about, is those numbers that you're seeing right there. I shit on those numbers, dude. Watch the numbers when it starts happening. If you do the things that I'm saying in the comments right now, if you go and do the challenges, go invite the 10 dads, go invite your grandmas, go invite your mothers, get them in here and say, you need to listen to what this guy's saying. He's trying to protect your sons. He's trying to protect your grandbabies. He's trying to protect the boys and masculinity. If you don't agree with me, anybody that comes in here, put it down in the comments. I'm willing to talk to you. I know I might look like a mean, angry guy right here. You're damn right I'm angry. I might look mean right now. Look at what they've done to these guys. So yes, I am angry, but don't think I'm not willing to settle on down and say, tell me what's going on. I want to talk to you. I might not agree with what you just said. Let me show you some research. And at the same time, I want you to know, anybody that doesn't like what I'm saying, if you say something in here and it makes sense, I am not afraid to tell you, you're right. I'm sitting here telling you for 3.5, 4 years of me doing this podcast, I realized all the wrong that I did. I'm not afraid to talk. But one thing this world has made people think right now, especially on social media, is that if you don't agree with the person that's speaking right now, you can't listen to him. If you don't agree with the one thing that he's saying right now, you can't agree with him on anything else. If he doesn't have that color beside his political thing, if he's not red or if he's not blue, I can't listen to anything else they got to say. If he's not a Republican, if he's not a Democrat, I can't listen to anything else he's got to say. If he's white, black, Hispanic, Mexican, Asian, whatever, we've got to divide because they don't know the challenges that we go through. Let me talk to you, the races and the countries right now. Brothers, we're all going through it. I don't care what the color of your skin is. Look, I got the tan. I'm the graham cracker right here. I don't care what it is. We are all going through education and other things, but it is the same system doing the same things to us all across this world. And the more that you try to think that it's just this bias or that it's only one-sided, that's where you're going to stay. Right now, the ism that we're going through is the unbelievable-ism, okay? People don't want to believe that it's real, that we can all go through it. We need to get rid of that one. We need to all come together. I don't care where you live. I don't care how old you are. I don't care what the color of your skin is. Brothers, we need you. Isn't that what Martin Luther King said? One day I have a dream that people will be judged upon their character, not the color of their skin. We are fighting that same war right now, Dr. King. Do you understand me? Thank you for laying the ground tracks to say this can happen. For hundreds and thousands of years, these people were enslaved and thought that equality would never happen, that they wouldn't have the right to vote, that they wouldn't have the right to eat at the same restaurant, to drink from the same water fountains, to ride the same damn bus. And there was a dreamer. There was a guy that believed it could happen. And he came right along and said, I've got a dream and I'm going to march and I'm going to show people what can happen. And now his name is on streets in every city in the United States of America. If Martin Luther King can do it, don't tell me when you dads come together that we can't do it. You're not dreaming big enough. The problem is not me. The problem is not everything else. You guys don't have a dream. You don't have a vision. You're not dreaming big enough. I don't want you to dream small. When it comes to this movement, when it comes to fathers getting back in the home and masculinity to be restored, you need to be dreaming big. Do you understand me? And I want you to do it just like you're seeing me right now. Because listen, when any adversity comes our way, take your clips, make me look however you want me to look. But what I want to say, if you want to listen to anything, if you want to make smear videos on me, what I want you to do is I want you to make sure you use the whole damn video. Take it and do what you will with it, because the more you hate me, the more it goes out there, the more people don't like it. At least they're hearing what the hell we've got to say. If you're going to use something, use the whole dang video. Well, I don't want to hear everything you got to say. No, because we challenge your morals. We challenge your vision. We challenge the status quo. And guys, when you dare to be different, when you dare to take that was meant to break you and you let it make you, and that masculinity returns, that vision, that passion, watch what will happen. Do you understand me? I love you guys. That's dad talk. This That's dad talk. That's what's been missing from my life. That's what I needed to get back to. This is who I was in the very beginning, and I wasn't confident enough to come on the screen and say it exactly like I am now. But over the past 3.5 and 4 years that I've been going and playing political theater, I miss this voice. Some people might not like it, but I love it. I am proud when I look in the mirror and I say, damn it, dude, it's about time. It's about time. And I know there's some dads over there that have been in this movement for a very long time. You feel it too. You feel it too. It's about time. We don't need violence. We don't need violence. They got the violence going against us. But we do need some dads that are passionate, that are fired up, that are dreaming. Get some vision in your life, man. I'm telling you, if you don't have that vision in your life right now, you are just going through the motions, not realizing every day you're getting closer to death and not serving your purpose. I didn't start serving my purpose until the age of 35. Outside of being a dad, I ran from my calling. I tried to do everything else, but here the hell I am. And you know what? I might be a little late, but it's better late than never, baby, because here we are. It's dad talk. I did it today. I did it yesterday. I'm going to do it tomorrow. And buddy, watch what happens next year. And the more that people get in here, that dad talk is just going to get stronger. It's going to get stronger. And then we're going to see these men. We're going to pick them up and say, guys, welcome to our neighborhood, bitch. How about that? That's the way I feel about it. You've got life back in you. It's been breathed back in you. You are important and you do matter. Don't let anybody tell you different. I would rather get on here, do the screaming or the passion, the sweat that's running down. I would rather get on this and say what needs to be said than to stand in front of another casket of one of these guys. I got to go stand in front of a tombstone of a 5-year-old girl later on this month because of a system that failed her. A week later, I got to go sit with a father whose 1.5-year-old baby boy died because of the failures of this system that he told them was coming. I'd rather come on here and say I did everything I could do than to see something like that happen and know that I kept the clamp down on my mouth and didn't say what needed to be said because I was afraid of hurting somebody's feelings. If this message hurts your feelings, oh well. Oh well. The problem's not with us. I promise you that. The problem is not with us. Guys, on the way out, do it. I want to see the dads matter down in the comments. Will you say that I believe this movement can happen? Will you? For one time, I believe we can do it. Men are special. Men are good. Dads matter. Say some encouragement down in the comments. And ladies, let me tell you something. I know that message is a little intense right now. I love you too. Don't get it twisted. They want to make it look like anytime we speak about fathers' rights or we do what we're doing right here, it's about hating mothers. No. I believe the mothers have been fugabooed by the system just as much as the men have. There is a lot of ladies that doesn't realize that this system has put that mindset in you and you're just playing along with the status quo, not knowing the destruction that it's doing. Ladies, we love you. You are an important part of the world too. Without you, this world doesn't go around. Without you, we don't have the mothers. We can't have the person that's going to give birth. We can't have the nuclear family. You show the compassion. You show the caring side. You show a lot of other emotions that us dads don't. We were built different. But understand, as much as you are needed in that child's life, so is he. Okay? And I have to believe to any of those women, they would love to see a happy marriage. They would love to see a happy home. They would love to have that unit that works together and strong men that believe in themselves, that look down at their sons and say, I'm going to pass that confidence on to you. So you know when you go out in the world, you're not going to be discriminated against because you're a man or told that you're not good enough. You are going to walk the world with pride and you are going to be the best little boy that you can be. Ladies, I think you want that in your men and your sons too. And I love you, and I'm glad that you're here. Some of you have been taught wrong. And it's about time somebody tries to find us and get us back to the middle, I'm going to be intense when it comes to speaking the message of fathers. You'll have to excuse me. You might not be ready for that yet. Go study up somewhere else before you come over here. Once you see the research and what's going on, come on back to Dad Talk. We need you, because I'm going to upset you with some of the things I'm saying, because I'm not holding back. At the same time, ladies, to the feminists, there is a lot of guys out here that want to love you. They want to be able to trust you. They want to have marriages. They want to have kids, and they want to live a happy life. It took both of us, men and women, to make the world as we know it. To say that one side doesn't need the other is preposterous. Take that, which is trying to divide us, and let's come find a middle ground. I will gladly sit and talk to you. The last thing I want to do is, I've had people tell me time and time again, Eric, you need to go on there, you need to get the feminists and just argue with them with the research, make them look stupid. There is some of you that mean well with what you're doing. I understand that. I really do understand that. But I can tell you, we need to be having conversations, because if the next generation says that men don't matter, you're not going to have any kids. You're not going to have any marriages. And guess what? These guys are going their own way. And right now, I don't blame them. You can talk about MGTOW all you want to and how it's a bad thing. These guys are going their own way. And for anybody that's divorced or going through this system right now, I can't tell you that you're wrong. I want to not believe in MGTOW. I want to not believe men have to go their own way. Unfortunately, right now, the way it's set up, it's one of the safest landing spots for these guys. Ladies, we got to start having discussion. We need to block out the noise that they've made in politics. We need to block out the noise that they're putting in entertainment. We need to block that crap out that your professors are teaching you at school in front of the boys in the future generation that's sitting there. That boy that you're okay with that professor saying that you don't need him and that he doesn't matter is going to be your son if you put him through college one day. Do you want him to be emasculated, or do you want him to be proud to be a man? Because being a man believes being confident and saying what's on your mind, no matter what anybody else is going to say. This is what matters in my life. This is what I love, and I will fight for it tooth and nail. Your sons are going to need that. And in order for us to do that, we've got to start finding conversation and block out the noise that got us to where we are here right now. They make too much money with us not having the conversations. You understand? They make too much money. These guys want to love you. They want to have families. But with the current status quo and the way they've been treated and the way they are valued and the way that the price tags put on them in order to do so, they're going their own way. I'm warning you, there's going to be more of that coming soon. We've got to change that. Guys, that's going to be my dad talk for today. I'm burning up over here. I got to go turn the heat off. Georgia, it's lighting up, but man, I can't give it to you any better than what I'm doing right now. I love you. I mean it. Guys, we need you. We need you. If you can't feel that, man, can you feel that message? It's ready. It's ready. If you don't take advantage of it now, let me tell you, one of the biggest disappointments for me was watching what went on with the Johnny Depp trial, and our movement wasn't ready. We should have been on every news station saying, look, this is what we've been telling you the whole time. Look, it's not just her. Like, she's child's play compared to some of these other cases. We could have took advantage of that. We weren't ready. We will have people arguing if somebody gets $5 in this movement, but we don't care that attorneys are getting hundreds of thousands of dollars or that the courts are making billions. You're going to go to the shows that are actually trying to fight against it. And if they want us to get a little monetary support so that they can keep going on this, oh, they're doing something wrong. Dude, your fight is ass backwards. Your fight is ass backwards. Join the revolution. Join the movement. I finally did, and I'm going to tell you, it feels damn good. I'm waiting on you guys to join me. You hear me? I'm waiting. The movement starts now, and it starts the second that you get off this screen and make up in your mind, I've got vision, I've got passion, and I've got belief in me that this is going to happen. Nobody's going to take it away. Nobody's going to make my voice sound anything else but what I really want to say, and I'm here to take back over my role in society. I am important. I matter. I am a man. We are the daddies. We are the fathers. We are the grandfathers. We are the other half of this world. And it's time to reclaim that spot and to show our importance, because without it, the world is destined to fall. And the train's here, baby. Load up. I'm ready for you. That's Dad Talk. I'll see you tomorrow. Hey everybody, Eric Carroll here. Thank you for tuning in to another exciting episode of Dad Talk Today. While we fight for you, we would ask for you to please help fight for us. Like, subscribe to our channel, and ring that bell so you get notifications every time we go live. There's also Super Chats, patreon.com/dadtalktoday, and other ways you can support our channel. Thank you for being here.